Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, I was thinking about how there are lots of crimes against pregnant women, and I was just watching some interesting videos that showed women who had been killed when they were pregnant. And I started thinking, why would somebody do something like that? Why would somebody be so cruel? Which led me down the path of thinking about abortion. I came to the conclusion that feminists, since they dehumanize the baby in the womb, they also dehumanize pregnant women. Because if it's no big deal to execute a baby in the womb, then pregnancy is nothing special. Because if it's just a clump of cells, then why should any murderer of women feel bad? And why should anyone feel shocked when a child is taken from its mother by the hands of a criminal? But how do I put it? It's like these feminists will cheer an abortion doctor who ends babies for cash money. But a criminal who does it for free, they won't cheer. In the end, the child has been taken from its mother. The distinction is between the mother wanting it and not wanting it, and the intention of the person doing it. One's doing it for money, one's doing it because they enjoy it but are doing it for free. One must wonder if abortion doctors enjoy what they do. Has anybody really sat down and thought about that? Do these people sit down and just count their money at the end of the night in their head? Each woman who opens her legs, and he endures the smell of all that, the process, the sounds, day after day, all the different faces of the women. I wonder what they think about at night and when they're eating their dinner. Do they feel any type of fear? Fear of how many corpses will meet them on the on Judgment Day? It is quite strange. I think that this abortion fiasco of these feminists like Anna Kasparian and these other really wicked, cold-hearted, childless women who have fur babies, cats and dogs instead of children, and who have very beta, very submissive soy boy men as their partner. I think these women really do serve the occultic agenda because, they are atheists. But I think they serve the occultic agenda because they make pregnancy to be nothing special, nothing honorable, nothing sacred, nothing holy, nothing to be appreciative of, because they degrade the baby. And if you degrade the baby, you degrade the mother. You degrade the whole process. How they fetishize women ripping out the seeds in their gardenous womb. It's fascinating how a moral person will feel bad for the loss of the child either way. Regardless of if the abortionist is being paid cash money so he can go buy a nice car, or whether a criminal does it because they enjoy evil. I really do fear for the children of the future, because I think they're going to grow up around the most cold-hearted women the world has ever seen. I think the highest percentage of women in the world who won't care about their babies, who won't have a sense of sisterhood because they aborted 4 of their children. Why would they want to respect you while you're pregnant? It is quite strange. It's very dangerous. Feminists turn women against each other. They turn mother against child. They serve money and they serve death. I think men shouldn't marry women who've had abortions. And I think a man has a right to know if a woman has. I think there's tests you can do to find out if a woman has had an abortion. I don't know the process, but he should have access to her medical files, and I think men should discriminate and not have children with women who've had abortions so they could be punished. To de-incentivize the execution of babies. I think it's dangerous for men to be with women who assassinated their own child. How can a woman have love for a man but not have it for her child? It's supposed to be the reverse. The child comes first before any man comes before yourself. A mother should fall upon the sword for her child. She should go to the ends of the earth for her child. Regardless of if the man leaves or not, the child is innocent and doesn't deserve the wrath of an angry, bitter mother because of the father. It's really quite sick. That's why I think there needs to be more nurturing Muslim women on social media to speak out against the women who enjoy hurting children, who compare having a dog to having a child, who only think of children as germ spreaders, consumers of resources, and a blockade to a good time. It's really quite strange because as I was doing more and more research looking at how death row inmates got to where they were, what crimes did they do, and how these liberals don't want those monsters to be in the electric chair, you realize that liberals really are a sick people. They feel nothing for the children in the womb who lost their lives because of a murderer. They champion abortion and then don't want that criminal to be executed, nor do they want anyone to criticize an abortionist, and they see abortionists as heroes. It's like their morals and values serve the occultic agenda. They defend the evil for the sake of money. They laugh in the face of God, they think. They're arrogant, boastful, haughty, thinking that their body, their looks are gonna last forever. And they don't really have any sense of justice in their mind, even though they complain and moan about it all day. You can't have a sense of justice when you execute the most innocent for a crime they didn't commit, because you're mad at the father, because you chose a loser, because you don't know how to pick good men or attract good men. You decided to take out the life of the baby, the only creature in this world, a human being, an innocent little baby, who would love you to the end of time. Children are a blessing. And feminists reduce motherhood, pregnancy, and the sanctity of pregnancy by the way they talk about abortion and children, by the way they rather celebrate hookup culture, Tinder culture, OnlyFans instead of pregnancy, chastity, motherhood decency, resisting temptation. They don't know what it means to be moral because their moral compass comes from Daddy Darwin, comes from a mixed hodgepodge of different sources. That's why they're so screwed up in the head and so self-contradictory. They love the abortionist and don't think there's something creepy about a person who chose to make money off the backs of babies. How scary is that? They would get mad at a man who wouldn't want to marry a woman who's had 6 abortions. They would want the man to simply look at her breast size and her face and plastic surgery, painted eyebrows, fake eyelashes, dinosaur claw nails, hair extensions, eye contacts, Botox lips, and to be totally enraptured and enslaved to her looks. That's what they want. What an inverted sense of womanhood. And now they won't even say what a woman is, so look how far they've degraded women. They mock pregnancy through abortion glorification. They think being a woman is simply a mental thing and nothing to do with biology and how your body is connected to your mind. They pawn their kids off to be raised by nannies and boarding schools and the iPads and televisions. Think it's cruel to teach them about religion and modesty, but want to groom them about sexual identity and fetishes represented by a flag. They make the kids pledge allegiance to the flag in schools because it's placed sometimes even above the American flag. They'll complain that if it's wrong to teach a kid nationalism, but it's okay to teach them about sodomy, scissoring, and sterile sex that doesn't lead to children, and that it's only okay to teach the kids about non-heterosexuality, and that it's hate speech if you promote a nuclear family and gender roles. These people are messed up, and no wonder why we get such sick people on death row when liberals who are bleeding hearts are saying it's cruel to give them the electric chair, firing squad, lethal injection, hanging, beheadings. They think that's all barbaric and primitive, and so they champion the most wicked, just like they champion the abortion doctors. Pregnant women should be safe. Pregnant women, they need to watch out. They need to guard themselves, stay with a male guardian, because the more these feminists scream about abortion and do their weird parades with bloody baby dolls and all the creepy stuff they do, all these ritualistic, strange human sacrifice rituals they do on the street that they claim is just theater in front of Supreme Court justices' homes and wherever else they go, you should watch out. Because they don't suspect that that type of dehumanization of pregnant women and of human beings will have any negative effect. They ban you from making memes about Joe Biden, but then they sit there and celebrate the execution of babies. They're more offended if you say that there's more solutions to pollution than taxing everyone to death and not only being forced to eat soy and bugs. They get highly offended by that. But if you say only women can give birth, only women can breastfeed, and they call you a monster, and they call you backwards. I think the nations that have the less liberals are the most rewarded by God. Because these people are sick, and they sniff their own farts, and they're pompously arrogant, elitist, ivory tower, echo chamber, circle jerking morons who have no respect for people better than them. And they only think they're the center of the world. I think we're going to see more crimes against pregnant women because of how feminists champion abortion, which degrades pregnancy and degrades human life and sees pregnancy as nothing special. It is very, very sad. Very sad. I remember when Cori Bush, that politician, did a post where she said, say their names. You could probably look it up if it's still on her Facebook page, where she listed death row inmates who had done crimes to children and pregnant women and women in general, and she didn't want them to be executed for their crimes. This same criminal politician said defund police while she has private security funded by the taxpayers. She's also someone who's a gun grabber, but then is surrounded by guns herself. These politicians think they're the only ones who deserve protection. But they leave us to fend for ourselves and then strip us of our rights. We should be very careful going forward in America. And we should really think about what it is we are creating, what we are manifesting, what we are championing. If you know someone who's had 3 or 4 abortions, I would say cut them off from your life. That's a assassin. That's someone who I'd say has a demon manifested in them, and atheists can laugh at that all they want. but let them be consumed by the dark arts. Kick their face into the pit of hell. Don't let them ankle bite you and snatch you down with them as you claw, struggling not to fall into the pit of despair, nihilism, and cynicism with them. They are a wretched people, doomed for nothing, who deserve nothing, and believe in nothing. And they'll return to something that they won't expect. It's always healthy to go down these mental journeys, reflecting upon modernity, where it's going, and these different narrow passageways of human consciousness that make you reflect and really go into a very deep mode of thought. I want to speak more about pregnancy and motherhood like I've been doing, because it's needed now more than ever. And when you have Muslim women championing abortion, you know the world is going in the wrong direction. It says clearly, don't kill your children out of poverty. And the number one thing that some of these middle-class women do with their abortions is they abort because of inconvenience. It's very quite strange. Muslim women who are supposed to fear Allah, encouraging the snuffing of children for the profit of lab coats, feeling nothing for the corpses of the tiny little babies with their little cute hands, tiny noses, innocent eyes. To have believers, women, champion that, to fight for it like Ilhan Omar and Linda Sarsour, and to wave a flag of sodomy, of anal enthusiasts, people who like the smell of poo. That is quite strange. May we all do better. May we all reflect.